Hi, fun recap here. Today, I'd be explaining an interesting Nigerian movie titled Guli. Have fun watching. The movie begins with a scene where a woman was helping her daughter dress out for her engagement ceremony. She then called on her youngest daughter, whose name was Guli, to come help her elder sister. She then asked her if she was done with all the chores in the house, and she said she was done. She then told her to hurry up and get ready as well before their guests came to the house. Guli picks an outfit she had received from one of her aunties to wear, but her mom asked her to put it back because it was too nice and that it was her elder daughter's engagement and not hers. The ceremony was successful, and after they were done and leaving, some of their in-laws even complimented Guli that she was very beautiful naturally, which made her mother a bit jealous. That same day was Guli's birthday, and they had a small cake for celebration after the whole engagement, but her mom refused to celebrate with them when they called her. She said she needed to rest. Her father later asked her what she wanted for her birthday, and she said nothing, but she just wanted to continue her education, and that she just wanted to write JAM at least because she knew she was very brilliant and would do very well. But her dad tells her they couldn't afford it. Guli was ironing one day when she overheard her mother's conversation with one of her friends who had come to visit her. She said one of her brothers were interested in Guli. This man we are talking about is someone who was way older than her, that even though she was 19 years old, she thinks it's right for them to give her to them, so they allowed the man marry her. And her mother said she will later send Guli to her. Guli's mother calls her and asks her to go get them wine from her room. When she went, she saw a letter with some inscriptions on it and hid it in her dress before taking the wine and sending it to them. She later read the letter that night and realized that the content of the letter stated that her mother she was staying with wasn't her biological mother, that her biological mother had died while giving birth to her, and that her father had cheated on his wife, who was the woman she was currently living with her mother. And that was how Guli was born. But after her mother's death, they had no option than to bring her home. The letter made sense to her, and she understood why her mother always treated her differently, causing her to do everything around the house and more treated her about any little mistake she made, without her father being able to say or do anything about it because he has been living with the guilt. The next scene, Guli's mother gives her some amount of money and an address of one of her aunties that she should go live with her. Guli asked why, and her mother told her that it was because they fed her enough and that she was going to live with her, help her with her choice and some things around the house. This auntie in question was the same woman who had come earlier requesting for Guli's mother to send her to her so they can later marry her off to her brother. On Guli's way to the place, she asked the driver to stop in the middle of nowhere that she wanted to alight there. She started roaming around the area without an idea of where she was heading to. She ended up at the entrance of a random house where she was almost knocked out by the car of the owner. The woman took her into her house and asked her a few questions about herself and her whereabouts. But Guli tells her she had no idea of where she was going. She said she was new in that area and that she was there looking for a job. The woman asked her age and why she wasn't in school, and Guli tells her she was 19 and that they couldn't afford it, that was one of the main reasons why she's looking for a job to help her family. She even showed the woman her results from her previous school, and the woman says she was very brilliant and the result was very good. And Guli tells her that she could even tutor, that she had been teaching some of her mates previously when she used to be in school. The woman then tells her she had even been looking for a teacher for her daughter who was performing poor academically, that she was happy to employ Guli and that she was willing to pay her very well. She even offered Guli a room in her house, saying she can stay in the guest room while she teaches her daughter, which made her very happy and shocked at the same time, but she thanked her for her kindness. Naya, who was the woman's daughter, later shows her a room and leaves immediately, even before she could thank her. The next morning, Guli wakes up early to go do the dishes before the woman even went to the kitchen, which made her very impressed. But Guli tells her she was willing to do anything she could do to help around the house. If it was cooking, cleaning, that she could even clean in addition to the tutoring, which made the woman happy. She introduced their chef who cooked for them to Guli, and as time went by, they became very close. Back at home, her parents found out that Guli hadn't gone to her auntie's place and they started panicking. The lady takes Guli out for lunch where she asks her more questions about herself, and Guli tells her she was an orphan, that her mom died while giving birth to her, so she lived with her dad and stepmom. Anaya was very harsh and uncontrollable, which made Guli's job very difficult. She always made it clear that she didn't like Guli and wanted her out of their house. Guli calls her dad one day to inform him that she was fine and didn't want them looking for him, that she was taken in by a nice family and that she was okay, but she knew the truth about her birth and that her mom is her stepmother and not her biological mother, and everything that she has put her through because of this, and that she never wanted to come home again, which made them even more worried. She gathered courage and approached Anaya one day that they haven't learned anything ever since she started her tutoring job, but then if she doesn't cope with her, she's going to report her to her mom, which made her scared, and she finally gave in and decided to allow Guli teach her. Anaya threw a party at their house and invited all her friends from school. Even though Guli was left out, she later found one guy who seemed interested in being friends with her, and she had fun. Her stepmother visited her auntie to explain the situation at hand to her and why Guli hadn't gone to her even though she asked her to. Guli's elder sister later finds out what was going on about Guli's disappearance and gets really angry at her mom for everything she had done to the girl, and took charge of the situation, causing them to go look for her immediately. There was another party at Anaya's house where Guli wears an outfit Anaya's mother had given to her as a gift. But immediately Anaya sees her, she gets angry and asks Guli to give her back her dress, which embarrassed her totally at the event. At night, Guli apologizes to Anaya and asks her to let them be friends, and she agrees. The guy who had befriended Guli at the party later tries taking advantage of her, which made her really uncomfortable, and she screamed, causing a scene, and Guli got really embarrassed, after which she broke down to tears in her room. One day, she tried teaching Anaya, but she started insulting her and calling her names, and started insulting Guli's mother in addition, which made her really upset, and she slapped her. Immediately after that, she goes to pack her belongings, ready to leave the house because she has slapped her employer's daughter and thought she had no chance of living there anymore. But her friend, who was their cook, consoled her and tried her that the woman was a good man, that if she apologized and explained things to her, she would understand. And Guli decided to stay and try apologizing to her and see how it goes. In the next scene, her family locates her, which made the lady who had been helping her all this while really upset with her because Guli had made her believe she had nobody, that she had no mother, even though her mother was standing right in front of them, that she came from a very poor background and had no family who really cared for her. Things went back to the way they used to be before Guli's presence in their house. In the next scene, Guli's sister visits Anaya's mom and explains things to her, that Guli was actually a good girl whom she thought she was, that everything she told her about herself was true. She wasn't schooling and her mom had actually died while giving birth to her, that the lady she saw before was her stepmom, and that she was being maltreated at home, which caused her to leave the house, and that Guli was a good girl and not a liar or a scam as she thought. After Guli's return home, things got very weird around their house. Even though the family was trying to make it up to her and make her happy, she wasn't comfortable and was very sad and quiet, refusing to eat or talk to anybody, especially her stepmom. One day, her auntie, who was her biological mother's sister, came to visit and explain everything to her, and she finally understood the circumstances surrounding the issue. She was the lady who had written the letter Guli saw, which made her know that she wasn't her stepmother's daughter. Guli's stepmom later apologized to her for everything she had put her through, that she was sorry and was willing to be a better mother to her, that she wasn't going to maltreat her anymore and that she would treat her like her own child, and Guli forgives her. In the next scene, Anaya and her mom visited Guli at her house, which made her and her family very happy. She spoke to Guli as if she was her own daughter and apologized for misunderstanding her earlier and throwing her out of her house, that she understood everything now because her sister came back to explain things to her, and Guli forgives her as well and even thanked her for being kind to her when she had nowhere to go. So Anaya and Guli also got some alone time to talk things over, and Anaya apologizes to her for being a brat in her face. Apparently she was the one who traced Guli's family and gave her her address, that she knew who Guli was, and that was how she was found and traced back to their house. Guli told her she held no grudge against her, and they both decided to be friends from that moment onwards. In the next scene, Guli finally goes to university, where she was so happy, and while she was looking at the environment and admiring everything alone, she was approached by the same guy whom was her friend while she was in the ladies Anaya's house, and also their cook. They talked and laughed and decided to move together on campus. Guli, the end. Thank you so much for watching to the end of this video. If you enjoyed this video, kindly give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more interesting videos like this. See you on the next episode.